Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Chatterbox with King Jacob. I am yours truly, King Jacob, and we're going to chop it up tonight with a public figure, a community innovator, a national recording artist, songwriter, and just all around great person who serves her purpose while she's navigating through this thing that we call life. So, thank you for tuning in once again. Hope everybody had a terrific Tuesday. And so we're gonna tune in for this turned up Tuesday and none other than Lady Miz. What's happening?
What's going on? What's going on? How you doing?
I'm great. I'm great. I'm great. I'm great. And you know
Yes,
we definitely meet once again. And
yes.
so I definitely appreciate us connecting. And we connected years ago and then came back to the forefront again. So I
Mhm.
call it divine intervention. So you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right, right. So for the audience out there that trying to get familiar with you, I'll go ahead and let you formally introduce yourself to the audience.
Yes, so I'm Lady Miz and I do a few different things. So I'm multi-passionate, songwriter, independent artist, entrepreneur, author. So I think I named it all. I kind of do a few different things. So yeah.
Okay, okay, great, great, great. So we'll talk about where your journey began at first. So for people that really understand who you are, they got to know where your journey began up until this present moment. You know what I mean? So we'll talk about where that journey began at.
Yeah, so well, for me it begins with music, right? Music was the first thing that I started doing at a very young age. Around 11 years old, I started writing my own rhymes, inspired by like the old school rappers such as Dougie Fresh, Slick Rick and stuff. The first song that I ever wrote to was called The Show, and that's when I just that it just kind of like just came out of nowhere. I just was listening to them and reciting their stuff, and then I just started to write my own rhymes. So music has always been a passion of mine since I was young, and that's just something I continue to do over the years. Sometimes I would take long breaks, and then I'll come back and do it again, and come back and do it again. But this very last time that I just came back doing it, I started to learn more of the business, and I started to understand that it was more than just about being an artist, especially in today's time. It's about like building a brand. So that's what Lady Miz is pretty much all about. So I started my own publishing company. I wrote 3 books. I have my own potato chip company. And I have 2 publishing companies, one for books and also one for music. And I just started to learn how to do pretty much a lot on my own. Like, I also have my podcast where we have like 3 different shows under From the Ground Up Productions. And one of them, I interview a lot of different people as well, too. Creators, I like to call them. So, I'm kind of like dipping and dabbing into different things, but it all falls under some form of entertainment.
Okay, 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 great, great, great. So with you being, I'm gonna say a music head, you know, you're passionate about the art form of music. And it kind of for a lot of people, and I can pretty much say I feel like you're one of those people. Music elevates their intellectual presence. Music elevates their emotional presence. It elevates them mentally and spiritually. That is you, correct?
Yes, absolutely. However, I do have my moments where like I don't even I'm just being transparent, don't even want to have anything to do with it at times because of the way that it is now. And because it's so different than how the reason why I fell in love with it in the first place, right? It's so different from that now, where it almost makes me kind of lose the love for it in a sense. So I'm trying to learn how to really separate my passion from, and it's hard to do that, to tell you the truth, from doing it as a career business wise, because when you start to understand things, I just did a show the other day talking about streaming, right? And I had reposted something that a guy said. And to sum it up, what he was saying was he broke down how many times somebody has to listen to your song and stream it in order for you to make $1, right? And then he goes on to say, we invest in the beat, we invest in getting it mixed, getting it mastered, the graphic designer for the cover, all these different things. If you don't have a studio, you got to record it. Then, he didn't mention this, but you still got to pay the distribution company to put out the music, etc. You're going to have to pay to promote it. And then people want you to perform for free, right? So when you look, and then you look at all the scam artists that's all over the internet and all these people that's offering all these services, and it's like, it really when you're trying to do it on a professional level, it takes away from that part of when it was fun, when you enjoyed doing it. When you start to look at all of that, I feel just like the guy. You mean to tell me I ain't worth a penny? Because how much of a penny do you get? And well, better for me to say it the best way like he did is, how many times do someone have to listen to your song over and over and over again for it to add up for you to even come close to making 1 penny? So,
I can tell you how many times one person has to listen to your song 132 times for you to make 1 penny.
That's ridiculous. So just think about, if somebody wanted to listen to my song 132 times, and I did direct sell and sold it for 99 cents, right? I will be close to $132. So I feel like as somebody who's a songwriter and an artist, I think that we have to find a way. And I respect the streaming to a certain extent, because I understand that you do have to, it helps you reach people in all these different places that it wouldn't have been possible, to do if you're going the other route. But we have to find ways to kind of like go back to learning how to do direct sell as an artist, as a business, because like this shouldn't be happening. This is like a form of, to me, it's slavery. It's slavery. It's just the same way of how they took people's music and these people didn't get paid. I think that this is happening to a lot of the artists. So this is another reason why I still create music, but I do so much more than that, because again, I have my ups and downs with it, and I'm just being transparent.
Well, I mean, you're absolutely right. And I can say this right here. I can remember me back in the day. I'm going to say 2009. Me and the artist was talking, and I was telling him about the digital era and how it was crossing up, because this was when MySpace was still out. So the beginning of the digital era, like MySpace, I said, man, why don't you create a website and let's push people to your website, and you sell each song for 99 cents. Right. And he said, so how do I push people to the website? I said, well, you get you a college kid that major in computer programming, and another one that major in journalism, and another one that major in business marketing, and you have them on your team. And you have them to rock with you and get you some T-shirts made and have them all over the campus rocking that, and watch how these college kids come to your site. And he was like, yeah, and they did. They came directly to my website. And so I just think there's got to, do I like the digital era? Some. Do I like it all the way? No. Do I think the music industry is bogus? Yes. I think the music industry is not smart? I do. Because why would you just focus on the digital era? You still should give the people the option to purchase CDs, and then or they can purchase from the digital era. So I think that the analog and the digital should have matched up together. And so with that being said, the streaming services, artists make no money. They make nothing. Only the way an indie artist can make some money, I feel like, is if any artist is smart and they save their money and they just book their own shows. And what I mean by book own shows, I mean you you save your money to do. Not it ain't even got to be a big tour. Like you can do a 5 city tour every 90 days. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you rent out your own venue, you get all your door, and you get a performance, and you do your event bright, and you do what we did in the streets back in the day. You hustle in the street with them flyers. You go to these business owners, get donations. Ain't nobody say they got to give you a $500 donation, but you would be amazed how much every $50 donation would help you with your career. You know what I mean? Especially, if you really explain to them how invested you are in it, and you ain't robbing, you ain't killing, you ain't stealing. You just trying to get yourself heard as a professional artist. See, a lot of artists are not professional artists. A lot of artists just want to do it because they want to be famous. But being famous and being professional is two different things. You know,
Amen.
and we're not in the era where, back in 89, 90, where Def Jam gave LL 1.7 million, or we're not in the era where,
Mm-hmm.
and we're not even in the era where a label will give you a marketing developmental deal where, they give you a signing bonus for 250K, but they explain it to you and break it down. Now this 250K is to see how you rock. So, um, I was listening to Q-Tip when Tribe got their deal. He was like, man, we took that money and booked our own tour, bro. You know what I mean? We took that money and built our own street team. And he said, everybody over New York City know who Tribe was. He said because when we first got the deal, everybody didn't know who he was. So I think artists, some of them get money but don't know what to do with it. So if you a fresh artist out the gate, you got to put that investment back into your career. And I think that the labels know they're not going to put it back in their career, and so that's why they give these 360 deals, so they can own the name, own the artist, own the lyrics, own the sound, and just own them. Period, as a musician or artist. So because they
Mm-hmm.
know that these people are not going to put that back into themselves because they don't understand the nature of business, and they don't understand the nature of what we call musical corporate structure. Would you agree
Right.
with that?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so, what is your take on it?
Well, I mean, you pretty much said it all. I agree with the whole statement, honestly. I mean, at the end of the day, I already pretty much said how I feel about it. To me, it's another form of slavery when it comes to the music. So
Hmm.
that's really just summing it all up. Just to get right to the point, that's pretty much what I think.
Right, right. Okay. So, you know, you my girl. So, and like we met, some years ago. So I took the time today to do some research on you, and
Mm.
um, I seen her name pop up while I was researching, and I said, "Oh man, the family business, huh? Lady Miz and Cash on Abel, huh?" I said,
Yeah.
so tell me about that project, cause I'm very interested. I'm very interested to see how that project went for you guys and how y'all brought it all together. Because it really seemed like it was really something that was really 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 dope. So I just want to know about that creation and how did y'all orchestrate that and come together as one.
So I've been talking about doing like a compilation for a while. And I had a lot of people in mind. Some people came on board, some people didn't. You know how it is. Sometimes people just don't come through. But then my daughter's boyfriend actually, who's on the album, he was like, he kept saying, hey, he seemed very interested in doing it. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna do it. But right now, I look at my whole family. You know what I mean? And everybody has a skill. Like my daughter sings. You know, my stepson, he raps. You know, I rap. And even though my husband don't rap, but he spit a 16 on there, and then my daughter's boyfriend was on there, and I had a couple of people such as Cash on Abel and Mason and my uncle Jay, who's on the album. And I'm like, these are people that I'm close with that are like family to me. So Cash, you know, I'm always checking in periodically with him, seeing how he's doing, him and his family. Like I talk to him like I call him my little big brother.
Right.
Yeah, so because he's younger than me, but he's so mature in so many ways. I'll call him for advice. But I'm like, you know what? Let's put this compilation together. And what I loved about it is that everybody on here had some different type of a different sound. So you're gonna get all generations, you know, from the boom bap era to the era now, like, and that's pretty much what you and even before the boom bap era, because my uncle's on there, right? So all these different generations all in one spot. So there's definitely something on there for everybody, and there's some type of whether it's R&B, hip hop, old school sound, or the new school sound, whatever. You're gonna get all of that all on there, and we just kind of just did the damn thing, you know, and I loved it. We was like, we got to call this something that's meaningful. And since we are family and like family, I'm like, family business. That's what it is. So that we all voted, you know, we all came together and decided to do that. So that's how we came up with the name.
Okay. So with that being said, will there be a part 2?
I'm not sure if it's going to be a part 2, and maybe in the future, but because like I have so many other things that I'm really doing. Like I'm into real estate now, and I'm really trying to like invest into different multi-family homes and even assisted living type of stuff. So I'm not sure. I have to be careful with my time and understand like where I need to be focusing majority of my time at. So for me, you know, doing music, I'm always do it because it's something that I love to do. But is it at the top of my list? Not really. You know what I mean? I'm just being honest. Not really, but it's still on the list. It's just not like at the very, very top, you know?
Okay. I can dig it. So let's I know we talked about it before. Let's tap in one more time on Riding, and let's talk about the song where your daughter is singing the hook for you on there.
Okay. So Riding is a sexual song. So that's for the grown and sexy. That's why on the first cover I put adults only. But we have the remix out, and that's with me and Lot Picasso, and that's Riding, the remix. And again, you know, that's a sexual song, so that's for the grown and sexy. And when you say my daughter singing on the hook, there's a few of them. So are you talking about Brown Skin? Like which one are you talking about?
I can't think of the name of it because at first I thought it was you singing, and I think I had spoke to you about that last, but I don't think it's Brown Skin. It's another one that she's singing the hook on.
She did a few of them, but I mean, majority of the people always reference to Brown Skin with her because we shot a video for that. So you know,
maybe that is the one. Because I asked you, I'm like, you were saying to you like, nah, that's my daughter, and I was like, wow. And I remember asking you before that she take it seriously. So, and but I really like that record, and I just want to talk about as far as radio campaigns and things of that nature. Are either of those records getting those different radio spins, like whether we talk about internet, college, FM, clear channel, satellite, overseas radio? Did you service both of them, or is that still in the making?
I'm so sorry. I kind of heard you and got off track. I feel bad, but because my husband just gave me a cue. He said it's probably one and only, and that's
what it is. That's what it is. Kudos to him. That's what it is.
Ray the Salad Assassin, he always on point. He texted me, he said it's one and only, so he must be tuned in watching.
Right.
Yes. I'm sorry. State your question again.
So with Riding and One and Only, you
Mm-hmm.
know, I know One and Only is an older record, but as far as me listening to it and with me having a listening ear and me
Yes.
understand the markets that it can go in, I feel like, you know, you definitely need to service that record. And Riding is for the adults, so I think you need to service that record too. So with that being said, whether it's internet, whether it's FM clear channel, satellite radio, college radio, or overseas radio,
Mm-hmm.
are you campaigning both of those records, or you know what markets do you want those records in?
So obviously Riding is more for adult type of stuff, right? Cause
Hmm.
I don't, that's not for kids, you know, and I can't see myself having kids listen to that song. It's definitely not for kids. So we got to know where to separate that. Now, One and Only, that's for almost anybody that's been in a relationship. So we talking, it could be teenagers and up, you know,
Hmm.
going through, you know, breakup or, you know, being cheated on and lied to, whatever the case may be. Somebody and everybody can always relate to something like that. So for me, I just have the music out there. So if it reaches the right people, like, you know, I do stuff like this right now where I come on and I promote what I got going on. I promote what I'm doing. I promote my music, but everything else that I do. So, you know, what I hope that people would look to see what else I have. And then, you know, people choose what they like. I could tell you that this is the dopest song and I think everybody like it. And like what you did, and you went all the way back to One and Only, you know what I mean? And a lot, it's funny because a lot of people, even though that was the first song that I did coming back off of my hiatus, right? Everyone still loves that song. I never got a bad remark, never said, it's okay, but do something else. Everybody always say like, this is one of my favorite songs. So maybe I
It's
should be
hot.
pushing.
It's hot, and I really think that you should push it. I think that song deserves a radio campaign, like a full
Mhm.
service radio campaign. And I think it can really raise some eyebrows in the industry, not just in the music industry, but also in the TV and the movie industry when it comes to movie scores and soundtracks and you know maybe it going on a web series and stuff like that. You know, so because I'm pretty sure you in this industry, you definitely got friends that shoot movies. I'm pretty sure you do. You know, so
Absolutely. Hey, we're about to
so
get into that lane.
right, and
Yeah.
so with that said, I think both of them should be pushed to different, you know, music supervisors, you know, for movies and web series and documentaries and things of that nature. So, you know, a lot of times it may not be something that people understand, but music licensing, man, listen, that's a real bag.
Hey, that let me tell you, it's funny you said that because that is my lane. That's where I really want to be. I want to create music for that, for movies, for TV shows, and things like that. So it's funny that you say that because even when I say, "Hey, I'm gonna take a break from music," but music will always be in my heart. It's something that I can't just cut off because sometimes I just have to write if it comes to me, right? Because that's the art that's like instilled in me. So even when I don't want to do it as the artist that's running around performing, I still want to be able to create. I love creating. So the sync licensing, which you're mentioning and speaking to these music supervisors, is definitely something that I want to pursue. It's just that I'm trying to learn how, like, and I mean really how to do it the right way, because a lot of people say that they're going to submit, but really I interviewed the guy that used to be in charge of the music supervisor for BET, all these different shows, right? And he told me it's really only a couple of people, and everything had to go through him at some point. He don't do it anymore, but he was just, the way he broke it down, it didn't seem like it was an easy thing to get into. So for me, if anybody's out there, or if you know, please let me know, how do you go about doing that? Because
Well,
that's what I want to do.
I do know how to do it, but I just gotta be honest with you, Lady Miz. A lot of independent artists don't pay attention. I have different companies that I researched out. I've got in contact with them, and they say a lot of indie artists don't even submit. And
Wow.
so and they was like, you have different people in this industry, and so you do have a music signalized agent. You know what I mean? You got people that are agents that do this for real, for real. And they always tell me, man, they was like, if one place that really are up on this music licensing, they tell me people in the UK and London, they always are on it, like for real, for real. So, but I would definitely, help you any way I can, because I definitely want to see you win. So, and that's, when I was listening to a Breakfast Club interview and they had Pusha T on there, and he said, I don't think artists get it, whether they indie or they major. I don't think they get it. He said you hear major artist stuff on there, but it should be on way more. If you're a major artist with a major label, you should have your music license way more. He said 47% of his earnings for his career come from music licensing.
Yeah, that's where the real money is at. It is.
Right.
And the thing, and the licensing, getting it on them shows and the movies and the TV shows and stuff like that. That's where it's at. It's just about learning or knowing how to properly get in. That's
Right.
my opinion as far as how to get in.
Right. It's just learning the business. And then I tell a lot of artists, man, you gotta understand, if you write or if you rap or you sing, then you know, you can do voiceovers. You know what I mean? You can do narration. I said, man, I heard Common narrate so many movies, man. I'm like, Common getting that voiceover bag for real, man. Like him and JD Kiss, I've heard them on a lot here lately doing narrations and stuff like that. So, and that's a whole different type of bag. You know what I mean? So when you narrate documentaries and web series and stuff like that, that's a different type of bag. I told somebody
Remy, Remy Ma,
right,
she's doing my true crime story. I heard Remy Ma doing that, so it's
yeah,
definitely yeah.
I actually just got through watching it before I came on. So yeah,
Oh,
she
yeah.
she on it. Yeah, she on it. She on it. So, and she has some remarkable stories and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
and I had a chance to really talk with some people. One of my partners out in Vegas about the voiceovers and stuff like that. He said, man, once you get your name built up, man, and people start hearing you, man, they call you for everything, man,
Mm.
everything. He said, they, they might not even want you on camera. They might just send you a script to read, and just might want you to do the voiceovers, like how they use voices like James Earl Jones and Samuel Jackson's and stuff like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
I think voiceover acting is something that you should definitely look into as well.
No.
So because it's just so much money out there in entertainment. So but not only that, you are author of 3 books, correct?
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
so let's talk about your first book, and let's talk about the whole concept. What made you write it, and um, the purpose of the mindset to really get the message out, through your writing.
Yes, so my first book was Broken Then Healed. It started off as a diary. It was at a time where I was going through that moment where I'm like, I'm not doing music no more. I'm leaving that alone. But I didn't have no outlet, right? Because music also was always like an outlet for me to express myself and to let things out and stuff. So when I stopped doing that, I felt like it was so much bottled up. So I decided to write. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to write in a book, write in a diary. And then I was just like, you know what? I think I want to turn this into a book, because what I was writing about was my life and certain things that I went through. And the funny thing is, I went all the way back from when I can remember when I was a baby, right? Whatever memories I had started from there, that's how it started. And the funny thing is, I was figuring myself out while I was writing this book. Okay. So what that means was, I was still lost in certain areas of my life where I didn't understand who I was, or why I may have done or been a certain type of way, or respond a certain type of way. Right. I didn't understand that. And sometimes it's easy when you are going through stuff to always point the finger at someone else and place blame, because I know that I've done that a lot. So as I was writing the book, I was like, oh, wow. I started to really understand who I was more, because I was writing about myself. So now I'm writing, and I'm going through the emotions. But going through these emotions, when I'm a different person now and my mindset is different, it allowed me to reflect back, but to understand, oh, this is why I respond the way I do to these type of situations, because this is what I went through. So it might be a defense mechanism. It might be a way to protect myself, my heart, and certain things. So I started to understand me more. And what happened is, I decided, hey, this is going to be a bucket list for me, right? So I decided, hey, I'm going to put this out as a book. Nothing that I'm going to go crazy about, like, hey, I need to be everywhere. It was just more like a bucket list type of thing to me. But as I was doing it, I was like, I actually like doing this. And I went through it was a self-publishing company, but I was going through so much with them, but I was learning in the process too. Once I've learned what I needed to learn from going through them, I decided I ain't doing that no more. I'm going to create my own publishing company and put my books out myself. So I started my own publishing company, and I put the next book out called The Indie Artist Struggle. That book was about all of the things that I've learned so far from me doing what I do, right? So I try to teach what I know and give my experience. Everybody's situation is different. I speak on my experience, but I also try to give as much knowledge as possible. As far as if another artist wants to read the book, it can help them. Then my last book that I just wrote, it's more of well, boy, I always kind of confuse this. I don't know why I get like stumped on this, but it's more of like a journal. It's more like a journal, right? So it's a 30-day manifestation. And this book is more like a accountability book. 30 days, right? So it's very small, very short. I know that people are not really readers today. A lot of people like audiobooks, or they might want to watch. So I made it very short, sweet. I got affirmations in there, and I also have it where if you want to complete a goal, that book helps you get to that goal within 30 days. So it's an accountability book to help you manifest what it is that you're trying to achieve. So those are the 3 books.
Okay. So with the last book, it sounds like it's a journal, but it sounds like there should be a workbook included. Is that included as well?
Well, that's inside of the book. Yeah, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So inside of the book, you're gonna have a section where you start your day with your affirmations, and you can write your own, or I provided some in the back of the book so they could go in the back and see what might fits them. So affirmations are good. A lot of times we want to speak those words and believe them when we say it to create the law of attraction. So that's what starting your day like that is the first thing. And then the next is really trying to understand what it is that you want to accomplish, and what are the things that you're going to do today to get you closer to that goal that you want to accomplish. Then you come back at nighttime, you kind of reflect on what you've been through, the challenges you face, and how you're going to make it better, or what you learned from it, so that you can evolve from that, right? So that's pretty much like the breakdown on the book and what you get out of it.
Okay. So you got 3 books out, and have there currently been any type of book signings, any book tours, or are you working on that? Maybe for this coming spring.
So what I do is a lot of times I bring my books with me when I go to events, or if I'm a vendor somewhere, I bring my books and I like sell them and sign them while I'm at the spot. So just a book signing specifically for the book, I know I have not done yet, but I am at a lot of different places, and I also promote a lot. So when I'm out and about and at these places, I always bring my materials with me and I sign it, take pictures with the people and things like that. So I do that like on the spot.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. So with those 3 books you're having, is there a potential time that you may want to turn these books into web series, TV series, movie scripts?
Absolutely.
Um,
I already
okay.
have one. For Broken Then Healed, I definitely been wanting to do a short film for that. And I already actually have the script already written out. I know how many characters I need and the whole
Hold
nine
up,
yards.
Lady Miz. Hold up now. And I hope your husband listening. Like this don't need to be no short film. Like broken and healed. Like what?
Well, you
That
know
need to
what?
be
That is true. It could be a part two because one of the things that I found out that I didn't mention, um, that when I wrote that book, The Healed, I wasn't even, I thought I was, but I wasn't.
and
That
see
part
this
is the
right here.
part two.
And see this right here. This don't even need to be like a short film. This need to be a whole TV series broken
Mm,
down into like mm, maybe like 6 seasons. You know,
mm,
8 episodes, 6 seasons. You know what I mean? You know, you know, break them seasons down because it's one thing to discover how you was broken, and it's another thing to this because a lot of people that's broken, they're stuffers. They don't let anybody know what's going on. They stuff
mhm.
it in and they walk around for years through this internal pain. It's not externally, it's internal. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's like bottled up. And then when they finally let it go, people actually don't understand. You know,
Mhm.
I had a friend to tell me, he said, man, I used to drink every day for 20 something years, bro. And my family thought it was fine. He said, but man, I was battling this addiction, man, for so long. But I was functioning when I went to work every day, lived a regular life, but I was battling. And so, but behind that trying to be healed. Because most people think that you can externally or internally heal yourself, but that's not true.
That's right.
Like when it gets to that point where you're broken and you know you're broken and you angry at everybody and you always want to curse people out or you want to close yourself off from the world or you just don't want to be bothered or you know you just stop contacting your friends and family members when they know that that's not the type of person you really are.
Mhm.
So that's why I say that book if turned into a TV series. Listen,
Right.
man,
Right. And then
that.
to add to that too is the fact that you know people could be broken like I was and convince themselves that they are healed, right? So it's almost like you're lying to yourself and you believe your own lie and you walking around thinking that you're healed, and that's another way how people tend to never take accountability for what they do, their actions, how they respond to stuff. So that was another phase, like I said, that I went through where it was like, oh snap, I did this and I thought I was healed at the end of this book. Come to find out, I still was going through the healing process. And I had to take a class. Oh boy, I hate that I messed her name up. Ayana, the one fixed my life. Then
Yeah,
the
yes,
out.
yes, 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 yes.
Listen, so
Uh-huh.
she had a class, and I came across the email, and I was like, I should sign up for the class. It was virtually, so we all kind of like did a Zoom thing, and she's like, talked with us, gave us stuff, gave us homework. And it's funny because it was called the same thing as my podcast, which is From the Ground Up, right? So I did this, and it was so amazing how she knew how to pull things out of you that you can bury so deep down, so that you don't have to deal with what you know is still inside of you eternally that might be hurting you. We know how to bury stuff and make it look like we're all like happy-go-lucky, right? That was me. Anybody who's seen me, that knew me, they always said, oh, you always have this upbeat, happy like thing about you. So if they ever see me down, it will be a big thing, because that's not something that I ever showed the world. But really, I was hurting inside, right? So with that being said, a lot of people don't know, that a lot of people, well, it's not that a lot of people don't know, but a lot of people convince themselves that they are okay when they're not. And it took me taking that class with her to realize that I still needed a lot of healing. And the only way that I was able to do that was to really face those things that I didn't want to face or relive or talk about or take accountability for.
Okay. And so with that being said, I just like to say that with you, and this is something that I must bring to the forefront. You're more than an artist, you're really open minded. And so with you being an artist, I was telling my partner on one of my other podcasts that I co-host on the 95 South podcast. I was telling him, man, we definitely need to do a podcast, music and mental illness, because
That's a
I
good
heard
one.
Pusha T say on the Breakfast Club, he was like, man, they was like, what's up with you, man? We ain't heard from you in like almost 2 years. He's like, man, I was depressed, man. Anxiety was up, you know.
Mhm.
I was mentally and emotionally disbarred, man. I didn't want to be bothered, but he said that, his girl Janae Ackles, he's like, she really, really, really stuck beside me, and I know most people would have ran off. He said, man, but this music industry will have you depressed and mentally ill.
Yes.
He
Yes.
said, he said people lose themselves so much in the entertainment industry that they don't know who they are, and people who love them and grow up with them, and even the person that birthed them don't even know who their child is anymore.
You
So
know, mm, let me just say something to that, because that statement is so true, but so very important. And one of the things that I want to mention, I'm sorry, I keep checking my battery. I don't want this to die while we on the phone. I got like
okay,
5% left, but I just want
okay,
to say this really quickly. To respond to what you said, I always tell people, even when I interview people, independent artists, other independent artists, I ask them, why are you doing it? What are you in it for, right? Because a lot of times the first thing people hear when they hear artists, or if you rap or sing or create any type of music, they think that you want to be this famous person traveling all around the world, performing, doing this, that, and the third. But again, you can create music on so many other levels. And a lot of people will approach people and tell them what they think success is, right? So, oh, you're not successful if you're not doing this, because they can't see success other than what they believe it is. You know what I mean? So for me, that's why I was talking about the sync licensing, because I'm like, I love to create music. I'm a creator. I've been doing that since I was young. But it doesn't mean that I want to be out here and there. But that's the first thing that comes to people's mind, is that you just want to be all over the place. I don't care about the fame. Personally, I would prefer not to have it. I want to be respected as a business person, an entrepreneur, but I don't need the fame, because the fame, I understand what that comes from. Money doesn't make you happy. If it did, then Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, all these people, Amy Weinstein, we could go down a whole list of all the people who were not happy when you talk about music and mental health. So at the end of the day, my thing is that I would say to people is, know what you want to get. out of this industry and don't have people make up your mind for you, because you get lost. The only reason why you get lost is because you start listening to other people telling you what they think success is and what you should be doing. You got to know that for yourself. Nobody can pick that for you. So when you start following somebody else's path instead of your own, of course you're going to be lost.
So Mike said it best. He said, all I really want to say is they don't really care about us. But we failed to listen to the message. Mike said it best. Because there was some internal things that went on inside the music industry that really bothered him, that bothered his spirituality. And so a lot of people don't really know that a lot of these artists that's really going through, and I heard Stacey Lattisaw say the reason why she quit the music industry in such a short time, is like because nobody recognized her raw talent. All men wanted to do was sleep with her, and she said that she was out. She's like, I'm just done. And so, and that could really, that really make you think like how many females in this industry have went through this and it bothered them mentally and emotionally and spiritually, and it just makes you think that it's a lot of demonic things going on in this music industry. And so I tell kids, I tell parents, oh, my kid want to get into the music industry. I said, ma'am and sir, understand this. Be careful with what you want to put them in, because some of the things they might be exposed to, it ain't nothing you're gonna be able to do about it. Nothing you can do about it. Yeah, so I tell people to be careful all the time. But this has been a wonderful interview, and so I just want to thank you once again for coming on, and I'll be in touch with you because we got some work to do. So
yes, absolutely.
Yeah, we got some work to do. So I just want you to give everybody your social media handle so they can follow you, get in contact with you, and let people know if you're accepting submissions for your podcast and all that, and then we'll get out of here.
Yep. So everybody can reach me. Everything is Ladi Miz. I spell Lady with an I, so it's LADIMIZ. They can follow me on all platforms, social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, everywhere. The best place to reach me is either through my website or Instagram. My website is ladimiz.com. So it's LADIMIZ.com. Everything that I have is on there. Even the podcast is on there. So if you go on that website, all the information on how you can submit to be on our platform is on my ladimiz.com website, where it says podcast. Scroll down. You'll see all of the, not all, but you'll see some of our interviews and all the information on how you could be a part of it. So.
All right, you heard it first. The Chatterbox with King Jacob, yours truly. And we have chopped it up in a sensational interview with the one and only Ladi Miz. And stay tuned for more important messages as she climbs the ladder and just incite her with her journey. And, she's following her purpose. And until next time, peacing out, many blessings, and Ladi Miz, thank you once again.
Thank you, and I'll talk to you soon. Appreciate you.
All right, peace. Bye.